groundbreaking news. I got one thing and one thing to say for this segment of Quick Hits. Patrick Mahomes has been cleared to play on Sunday. What? I mean, the dude just came off the field on this past Sunday, not knowing where he was, not knowing what time it was, not knowing what was going on. And he looked like he was 75 years in the future taking place in an event in the past. Like, I just don't get it. I mean, the way he was jiggling and shaking and just like spacey, I just can't believe that he got cleared to play. And with him getting cleared to play, you can obviously expect him to start. I highly, highly, highly doubt that he'll be playing a backup role to Chad Henne as a worst case scenario kind of thing. Kind of like what the Broncos did with the last year, Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler, kind of going back and forth between the two of them. Who sucked less that day was going to be the starting quarterback for that game. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes cleared to play. That's really the only thing I have for this segment of Quick Hits. And I just want to jump into the topic box. Honestly, I mean, I feel like I gotta get them. Okay, I feel like I should bang out a couple of these. I know, right? It feels so weird just to dive right into this podcast episode, but just hit my boom arm. But yeah, here we go. All right. Oh my goodness. Patriots options at quarterback. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here. Do you guys really want me to talk about this again? I'll go super quick with this. So I'm not going to discuss about the draft because I feel like I've talked about that a gazillion times. And I feel like that's just something that I don't need to repeat myself with. I need this ad to go away so I can see the screen better. Oh no, I don't want the ad. I hate when they do that. You click the little exit button and they're like, ha ha ha, you just opened it. Anyways, so I'm going to look at the free agent quarterbacks that are currently in the NFL this year. So I'm going to exclude any potential rookie draft selections for this upcoming NFL draft. And I'm only going to look at current quarterbacks that were playing this past NFL season. And right off the bat, we have Dak Prescott. And there's been some conversations that the Cowboys might bring him back. The Cowboys might not bring him back. It's just a type of thing where what is his value going to be? How much is he going to get paid for? Are the Cowboys even going to pay that? Because, you know, they are already investing money in Ezekiel Elliott and Amari Cooper. Do they really want to invest more money into Dak Prescott? Could they hit him again with the franchise tag? Absolutely, being the second year. And we've seen that before with the Washington football team. Then the Redskins doing it with Kirk Cousins. Is it time that Dak gets the bag? He's coming off a massive injury to his ankle, lower leg. Ugh, it was just disgusting. So would it be smart to just franchise tag him and see where things go? That's probably be the smart move for the Cowboys. But it's just going to be very hard for a team to invest a lot of money into some guy that's coming off a serious leg injury and who is potentially not even worth it. Are the Cowboys better with Dak? Absolutely. Does that mean he's going to be a better quarterback for another team? No. Jacoby Brissett, another good name. He was a quarterback here for the Patriots a few years ago when it was Brady, him, and Garoppolo in the quarterback room. He was there for the Super Bowl 51 run that the Patriots went on that year when they carried the three quarterbacks. He additionally actually played in 2 games that year. When Brady was suspended, he started the 4th game of Brady's suspension because Garoppolo got injured in the game prior, which Brissett actually finished. And quite frankly, I thought he looked pretty good. That was kind of when the mobile scramble quarterbacks were really starting to take over in the NFL, and it was just something different and fresh for the Patriots that we hadn't seen at that time because we had Brady for all those years. And he played pretty well. I mean, he finished 1-1. Like I said, finishing that game for Jimmy Garoppolo, and then he started that Week 4 game against the Texans. That was an absolute blowout because they sucked, and they always will. That's a story for another day, though, but I wouldn't mind seeing Jacoby Brissett come back because he knows the system. He kind of fits the mold of what the Patriots want to do at that position. It seems like nowadays, does that mean that they want to go back to the more pocket-style quarterback where it's just kind of take the ball, drop back, throw it? Kind of like a Mac Jones kind of player in the draft. Ryan Fitzpatrick can do that as well, who I'll just touch upon in a few moments. But I wouldn't mind Jacoby Brissett. Like I said, he's got some experience. He's been in Indy for a couple of years. He was the starter there last year, and he was the backup this year to Phillip Rivers. But now with Phillip Rivers announcing his retirement, the Colts could probably sign him back and be their quarterback for the next few years. Who knows? But I definitely wouldn't mind seeing Jacoby Brissett come back, whether it's for a year or two or maybe something a little long term. Who knows? Mitchell Trubisky, pass. That's it. Just pass on him. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's 39 years old. Is he going to retire? Are the Dolphins going to bring him back and kind of wait on Tua a little bit more? That's yet to be foreseen. Are the Dolphins even going to trade Tua, maybe get Deshaun Watson, or just trade Tua straight up? Who knows? But Fitzpatrick, 39, obviously not the long-term answer at quarterback. Even if he stays in the league one more year, I just don't see him playing anywhere else other than Miami. Tyrod Taylor. Now, this is an interesting one. I feel really bad for this guy because he came into the league as a backup, and then he got his chance to start in Buffalo. He gets injured. He gets replaced by Josh Allen. Then he goes to Cleveland where he's the starter. Then he gets injured, and he's getting replaced. Then he goes to Los Angeles Chargers, signs to be the starter. Then he gets injured. And now he's replaced. So it's like he's been kind of forgotten about. I'm not going to lie. And no fault to his own. I mean, I think he's a very good quarterback. He makes the plays. He doesn't make anything stupid. He can execute. He's just been with bad teams, and he was with the Bills when they sucked. He was with the Browns when they sucked. And I just don't think he got his legitimate chance to shine as an NFL starting quarterback. And yes, I know he had his time in Buffalo, but when he played up in Buffalo, he wasn't bad at all. Granted, the team sucked at the time, so his stats weren't translating to success. But throw him in the system, give him a couple weapons or two, and just kind of see what he can do to try to rejuvenate his career and even the Patriots' playoff hopes for 2021, because right now, my hopes for them are very low. A.J. McCarron, he's been bouncing around a little bit as a backup. He's 31 years old. He had some promise coming out of college, but I'm all set with him. So pass. Andy Dalton, he's going to be 34. He played pretty well with Dallas when he replaced Dak Prescott, and I know he was a little dinged up towards the end of the season, but he definitely was a warrior. He definitely tried to ball out after getting released by the Bengals, and I think Andy Dalton could be a good quarterback somewhere else. He fills his role very, very, very well, which is a experienced backup who can actually play if needed, and when called to play, he doesn't suck. And I think that's exactly what almost every team in the NFL needs. You either have an experienced starter and a young rookie backup, or you have a young starting quarterback and experienced backup. And Andy Dalton definitely filled that experienced role when Dak went down. So, do I want Andy Dalton as my starting quarterback in 2021? No thanks. But a Andy Dalton-like backup, I can sign up for. Colt McCoy, he's 35. He's bunch of memes going around him shining for the Giants when they were trying to make the playoffs. I'm all set with him. Nathan Peterman, pass. RG3, pass. Matt Barkley, pass. Cam Newton, pass. Joe Flacco, Joe Elito, no, I'm all set with him too. He played for the Jets this year. Didn't do anything. He's a complete shell of himself. This list is so lackluster of free agent quarterbacks. Ryan Griffin, Mike Lennon, Geno Smith, Blaine Gabbert, Jameis Winston. I wouldn't mind seeing Jameis Winston. I think he'd be a really good quarterback here in New England. Will the Saints bring him back? If Drew Brees retires, then probably, because he knows that system down there. But Jameis Winston is 27, the former number 1 pick. And he has a lot of talent. He's got a big arm. He has a turnover issue, which hopefully maybe he corrected down in New Orleans with Drew Brees. But he's going to be interesting because if Brees comes back, is Jameis Winston coming back too? Or is he out the door for a one and done down there? We're just going to have to see the whole Drew Brees situation when it comes to Jameis Winston. Brian Hoyer was the backup here this year. I like him in the backup role, that kind of Andy Dalton thing where you don't suck too bad if he has to play. Kind of that experience. He knows the system after being under Brady, even playing here for a little bit. So second, third string quarterback is all I'm looking for with Brian Hoyer. Blake Bortles, that's a hard pass. Yeah, this free agent quarterback list is so lackluster. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to be done. This is so bad. Well, overall, in terms of the free agent quarterback class for the 2021 offseason, there's not much to choose from. But if I'm going to pick three quarterbacks that I would like the Patriots to either bring in to compete for the job, if they go a different way with that 15th pick in the draft, or bring in as their actual starting quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. No order here. This is no order. I'm just going off of this list I'm looking at. Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor. Oh my god, that third one's so hard. Ugh. Andy Dalton, I guess. I mean, give me the red rifle. I mean, yeah, if you have some spare time, look at this list. It's pretty gross, and you can kind of feel my pain on why I was struggling to give you three names. But okay, so number 2. It has been all football on this podcast, let me tell you, and I'm not complaining because it's still football season, and there's still a lot to talk about, even with the Patriots out of it. But goodness, let's see, what do we got? Ooh, Red Sox season prediction over under gambling line. Okay, so I did mention this last episode that I do not condone gambling. I am not recommending gambling. I am not saying you should go gamble. I just like to look at the over-unders, the money line, the spread, just to kind of give you an idea, a prediction, an outlook at the game at hand. And we're going to look at the Red Sox season as it stands right now on January 22nd. Their current over-under, if you were to bet on them right now, is stamped at a cool 77.5 wins. Wow. I mean, that's pretty freaking bad if you tell me. And I'm just trying to scroll to see the World Series odds for the Red Sox, and it's 110-1. So, yeah, yikes. Every 110 World Series played, they will win one of them. And they are projected over under 77.5 wins. That's pretty accurate, to be honest, because they've done absolutely nothing to improve this team. They brought in no starting pitchers. They brought in no relief pitchers. They brought in no big bats or no high contact hitters, whether to be starters or reserve situational players. I mean, I know I kind of went on a rant before about the 2021 Red Sox season and outlook, but 77.5 wins, I might have to hit the under on that one because they've done absolutely nothing to improve their team. And the Yankees got Corey Kluber. The Blue Jays just got George Springer. The Rays are the defending American League champions, though they traded away their best pitcher, but they have a ton of prospects in return, so they're still a good team. Orioles are up and coming. They suck, but they showed a lot of promise last year in the short season. So can you expect them to make a move? Maybe not down the long stretch, but to be competitive over the course of the season, absolutely. And this is bearing a 162 game schedule. Could it be shortened due to COVID? Absolutely. Could there be tons of games canceled because of COVID? Absolutely. But I'm looking at it as a full 162 game schedule. And the Red Sox are over under 77.5. That is their current line. They are tied 19th in all of Major League Baseball with the Philadelphia Phillies and the Miami Marlins. I mean, the Marlins showed a good life last year too. I mean, they snuck into the playoffs. So, I mean, granted the field was expanded last year and teams were really able to make these, hard sprints towards that finish line over the course of 60 games. But the Marlins, they've been bad for a few years, so they've been able to collect some young talent, having high draft picks. Is it their time to shine? Maybe. The Phillies, it feels like that they're trying to take the steps to be that team, but they're just so short in some aspect of the game. If they bring back JT Realmuto, could they, their odds will definitely go up in terms of the over-under, but the Red Sox, they're just in the middle of nowhere. And is Cora the answer to get them back in competitive baseball? I would hope, but I mean the manager doesn't make up for, they should be probably like 87 and a half, to be honest. I feel like that'd be a much more comfortable number. If you're just a general sports fan, or at least a general Red Sox fan. But in terms of betting, yeah, I don't know. I mean, everyone on the team had down years. JD, Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, Benintendi, obviously. So if they bounce back, can they win you some games? Absolutely. But we had the same discussion last year when they, lost Chris Sale, and then Eduardo Rodriguez goes down with his little heart condition. Blessed that he's okay and he comes back healthier, regardless if he plays baseball ever again. But we found out that the Red Sox can't win games 10-9, 11-8. Baseball isn't just one like that. It's either you strike out a bunch of players or you hit a bunch of home runs. And last year the Sox did neither. And their pitching staff clearly can't win them games when they're trotting out, I don't know, your team's favorite Double-A fourth starting pitcher, right? When they're playing a critical Game 1 against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. I mean, that's who they're jotting out there, Ryan Weber, and I don't even know because they were just all bums. 77 and a half. I just can't get over that number. That's so bad. That is so bad. Just for fun though, if we want to look at the NL MVP odds, Mookie Betts is tied for third at 12-1. You had him. Let's see. I'm just looking at some quick odds here. But yeah, 77 and a half wins. Who has the best win total odds? Dodgers at 103.5. Yankees at 99. Probably hammer the under on those. That's just so hard to do. That is just so hard to do. But that's just honestly 77 and a half is so disgusting. And as a diehard Red Sox fan, as a baseball purist, as a baseball lover, that's just so hard to wrap my head around because I hate seeing my team suck so bad, but it just leaves a more sour taste in your mouth when the team doesn't even attempt to get better. They don't even attempt to get better. So that is where the Red Sox stand in the world of Vegas. If you're a betting person, hammer the under 77.5 because I don't think they're going to be doing anything this year, at least, because they've made zero efforts to get better. They're relying on Alex Cora, the offense figuring itself out, and they're going in the same mindset as they went in last year with the pitching staff is we'll just throw anybody out there and we'll just win 10-9, 11-8, 13-12. It don't matter. We'll win. No, baseball is not played like that. Baseball is not won like that. You need pitchers. You need hitters. Clearly, the Red Sox are relying on their hitting, but I don't know what they're relying on the mound. So I'm just going to jump into the next topic. Zdena Chara signing with the Washington Capitals. I did mention Chara a little bit on my little Bruins segment a few days ago, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. I just do want to mention that I thank Chara for everything he's done here in Boston over the past 14 years, I believe it was, being the captain, a great teammate, a great leader. He helped us win a cup. He helped us get to two more. Easily could have had a second cup. Easily could have been to 4 or 5 cups. But the Bruins not wanting him back because they wanted to give the younger guys ice time is a respectable management move. Is it a slap in the face to your captain for 14 years and someone who bleeds gold and black? Yes. This is the guy that broke his jaw in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals and turned around and played in Game 7 for you. I just think he could have went out a little bit better than that. But, bless up to Zdena Chara for wanting to keep playing at age 42 or 43, however old he is now. Hopefully he can get another cup with the Capitals. Him and Ovechkin, they're dying for that second cup. So all the power to him, and I really hope that the Bruins made the right move by not bringing back Chara and going with the young guys, which do have a lot of promise. Don't get me wrong. I'm on board with them wanting to play the young guys, I just hate how, it had to end with Zdena Chara. I wish he retired as a Bruin. It just would have been really nice to see. Same thing with Brady, wanting him to retire as a Patriot. Same thing with Ortiz, wanting him to retire as a Red Sox, which he did. But sports is a business at the end of the day, and management's going to make the moves that's best for their team. Sometimes fans don't like it, and a lot of us don't with the whole Brady situation, and a lot of us don't with the whole Chara situation. But like I said, that's how it's played. All right, next topic here. Celtics need a shooter and a big man. This has been a Celtic need for, I think, 5 years now. 5 years they've needed a shooter on the perimeter, probably ever since Ray Allen left us, which was almost 7 years ago now, 8 years ago. And a big man. I say big man because Tice, Time Lord, Tristan Thompson's been a nice little addition. Don't get me wrong, but the Red Sox, the Celtics had a great opportunity to get Miles Turner this offseason from the Indiana Pacers, and they whiffed on it. The Pacers were interested in Gordon Hayward for the longest time, and there was tons of rumors that the Pacers wanted to move on for Miles Turner for the longest time. Now, Gordon Hayward is from Indiana. He grew up there. He went to Butler there. He played for Coach Stevens there. Would a Gordon Hayward and Miles Turner trade 1-for-1 work? Probably not, but I'm sure the wrinkles can get worked out between the two front offices. It would have been super nice to flip Gordon Hayward and a first-round draft pick, call it, for Miles Turner. I think that would have been a win-win for both sides. You might have had him thrown a little bit more or whatever, but the Pacers had the cap room, and at the time they had Victor Oladipo, so you pair him with Hayward. And the Pacers are a nice team. They're always nice, and they're always muddling in the middle, and is Gordon Hayward really going to throw him over the top? Absolutely not, but it kind of gives them a chance to hit the reset button where Gordon Hayward can kind of play through the young guards that they have, where he can kind of be a point forward for them. Meanwhile, the Celtics get Miles Turner, who is a scoring big man who can rebound and play defense, which is someone that they've been dying for a long time. I don't think they've had that probably since Kevin Garnett. Not that KG was much of a shooter, but he had them post moves. He was shimming in the post like, he would step back and hit the corner three every now and then, but like that's not what we're asking Miles Turner to do here. We're just asking him to, post up, face up, go attack the rim, get the rebound, slam it down, and play some killer defense. And he's pretty young too. I mean, he was just drafted from Texas in the 2015 draft, where his first year in the league was 2015-16 season at 19. I mean, now in the 2021 season, he's still only 24, so the dude is young. And his contract is relatively good too. So, I mean, that's the type of player that the Celtics need when you have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, you got Kemba Walker, and you got Marcus Smart, obviously, you can't forget about him. Grant Williams, a good piece too. And you bring in Miles Turner, and I just really think it solidifies and it fits what the Celtics need. Excluding their shooter needs, but their big man needs, I think Miles Turner is that perfect fit for them because of all the attributes and the components that I mentioned previously. Can a deal still get work done between the Pacers between now and the deadline? Absolutely. I mean, is it harder without Hayward? Probably, but it can still absolutely get done, especially if the situation in Indiana doesn't get better for the two sides. Moving over to the shooter side of things, I mean, the Celtics rely on Kemba, Tatum, Brown, and Smart to be their shooters, and that's not how it should be. If you look across the league over the winning teams or even competitive teams, they all have that one guy, and that one guy only, who just shoots the three. They probably suck everywhere else, whether it's defense, dribbling, or whatever, or shooting a 21-foot two-pointer. But when you ask them to step beyond the arc, they are lights out. And that's what the Celtics need. And you don't have to play them every game. You just need them to come in, play for probably 8 to 12 minutes, and just light up the board from the three-point arc. So come playoffs, you need a clutch three or a late down in the game. You can put them in, draw up a nice play where he gets open at the top of the key and splashes one. That's what the Celtics need. That's what the Celtics had with Ray Allen. Granted, Ray Allen is a Hall of Fame shooting guard who did many of things very, very well on the court, not just three-point shooting. But I'm not asking for a Ray Allen type player. I'm just saying that the Celtics need a legit shooting guard and not rely on the Tatum and the Brown, the Smart, and the Kemba of your team to be that shooting guard for you. Like over the offseason, Marco Bellinelli was, a free agent. He's older. He's a veteran. He's been in the playoffs for a while. I mean, that's the type of guy that you could bring in. JJ Redick wasn't a free agent, but, he's the type of player that you need. Someone that can come off the bench, shoot lights out, maybe create a shot if needed, fill in some starting minutes here and there if needed. But the Celtics just aren't making those moves that the Celtics need to make. And it's frustrating from a fan's perspective because they have good pieces surrounding them. Like I said, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker, Grant Williams. I mean, I hate to say it, but Peyton Pritchard's even starting to turn into a nice piece himself. So you have the pieces on your team to be competitive. You'll get the 3 seed, you'll get the 4 seed or the 5 seed in the East, whatever. You'll probably win the first round. The second round is going to be competitive, whether you win or lose. But that's probably as far as you're going to get. And it's hard for us Celtics fans after, a 5th year in a row of potentially and or getting to the Eastern Conference Finals and losing. It's like, when are the decision makers, Danny Ainge, Wyc Grousbeck, going to finally decide and recognize that, all right, this team needs to get shaken up a little bit. What we have isn't really working. What is working? Let's move on from what isn't working. Hopefully they can make a move at the deadline and see that the Celtics do have needs. And though Tristan Thompson has been a nice little surprise for us coming in from Cleveland, is he the answer long-term? Is he the answer short-term? Probably not. Would it be nice to have him alongside a Miles Turner or another athletic defending big man? Absolutely. Because having Tristan Thompson play the 5 all the time is going to catch up to you and bite you in the butt, because at the end of the day, he is a true power forward, but he is big enough and he has the experience down low at the center position. And then along again with the whole shooting guard, it doesn't have to be a shooting guard. I don't care who it is. It could be a 7'5" shooter who just lights out from 3. Now, is that going to be Taco Fall, practicing on those corner J's that we see in the video? I know he hit a deep 2 with his foot on the line for, I think it was against Orlando a few days ago. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it. But in all seriousness, though, the Celtics do have some needs for the past few years now that they need to address and they haven't addressed. And like I said previously, it's very frustrating for a Celtics fan such as myself, such as yourself, or even just a casual basketball fan to see that this team has good pieces around them and they're not, finding the glue to keep it all together. They're not getting those final corner pieces that they need to take their team to the next level. Now, could they have beaten Miami last year if they had an answer for Bam Adebayo? Absolutely. Is Miles Turner that answer? Potentially. But we'll never know because we never made a move at the deadline last year. We won't know because we haven't traded for a Miles Turner type player or even someone who fits his bill. That's all I have on the Celtics and their needs. I could ramble on and on and on about them because these have been needs for years now, and it's well known because, like I said, in crunch time, they're relying on their star players to hit that jump shot, that three-pointer, which they respectively should, but there's a time and a place where you need a knockdown shooter to execute that three-point shot. It'd be nice if the Celtics had it. It'd be nice if the Celtics had a big man that they can throw down, play some defense, or even be an offensive weapon down there, so they don't have to rely on their big guys, their big name guys, I should say, to do all the scoring for them. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this podcast episode. I want to kind of keep it relatively shorter because there's going to be so much stuff to talk about coming out of this weekend on Monday when we break down the AFC and the NFC championship games. Also, a super early look at the Super Bowl as we look at the two teams that made it out of the AFC and the NFC as we prepare for that matchup in Super Bowl 55. Whether it's the Bills versus Bucks, the Bills versus Packers, the Chiefs versus Bills, or the Chiefs versus the Packers. We have a lot of stuff to talk about coming in on Monday. This podcast episode was super fun, engaging. I'm like fired up now talking about the Red Sox and the Celtics. So, any thoughts, comments, anything? If you're watching on YouTube, definitely throw it down in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Google, you name it, I'm there. Definitely hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at Murphs_BostonST, at Murphs_Boston Sports Talk, which the ST stands for. And hopefully we can have some good games this weekend over Sunday. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mentioned last time my prediction is the Bills and the Bucks will win, but with Patrick Mahomes now starting, I might be switching over to the Chiefs versus the Bucks. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? But I'm going to catch you in the next one. But until then, see ya!